Hi, welcome back to the Sad Channel. Back to D&D talk. Woo, I did it. Yeah. But yeah, no, anyways, we are talking about devil fruits in D&D, just like I promised in the last video. So, devil fruits, that little thing everybody kind of enjoys, everything loves, everybody kind of likes about One Piece. Now we're going to put that in Dungeons and Dragons. You know, we're going to talk how I run it in my personal One Piece D&D campaign. And I have the link in the description below for the Google Doc on how this all works, because you don't want to hear me yap, then that's fair. So anyways, let's actually start with devil fruits. Once you eat a devil fruit, it is permanently attuned to you. It's a permanently attuned item. After you eat it, unless you die, then it's unattuned to you. Shocker. The fruit will start at level 1 no matter what happens. So basically, if you eat this devil fruit at level 20, then you will only have a level 1 devil fruit. But this thing will also level up all the way to level 20. So basically you have two things that level up to level 20, your character and your devil fruit. The devil fruit's curse. Once you eat a devil fruit, you are no longer able to swim. So once you fall in the water, your movement becomes 0, and every round you're in the water, you gain 1 level of exhaustion. But once you leave the water, like fully out of the water, you will slowly start to get those points of exhaustion back, all the way up to 0, or if you had like 1 level of exhaustion beforehand from something else, then you get that exhaustion and you lose the exhaustion up to where you were when you fell into the water, if that makes sense to you. Devil fruits, devil fruit charges. Each devil fruit has a charge. All devil fruits have the same amount of charges. It just depends on what level you are. So at like level 1, you have 1 charge plus your constitution. At level 3, 2 charges plus your constitution. Level 6, 4 charges plus your constitution. At level 9, it's 6 plus your con. At level 12, it's 8 plus your con. 14, it's 10 plus your con. 16, it's 12 plus your con. And finally, at level 20, it is just 15 plus your constitution. So basically, you can have up to 20 charges if you devil fruit, depending if you have just a 20 in your constitution. Or I think with a barbarian ability, you can have up to 24 charges of your devil fruit at the level 20 of both you and the devil fruit. Now, devil fruits come in 3 different categories: Paramecia, Zoan, and Logia. I know there are like special Paramecias and then ancient Zoans and mythical Zoans, but those just kind of fall under the same category as Paramecia and Zoan, and they don't really change enough to have their own category in terms of mechanics for D&D. For example, Paramecia, legitimately, even in this rule that you'll get off the Google Doc, it just says up to the DM how it works, because these are really free-willing, like free-flowing types of devil fruits. Paramecias are kind of the wild cards of devil fruits, so in terms of all that, you can't really give it a set rule set because they're so different in so many types of this devil fruit, so the effects will change and how they are ruled will change. So that's why it's really up to the DM. For example, the wax fruit works completely different from the magnet fruit. They both have different mechanics. For example, the wax fruit would be like, use a charge to make a wax weapon, use 2 charges to make like a wax armor, you know, something like that. While the magnet fruit is like, use a charge and you become a magnet, and any metal around you in a 30-foot radius will be attracted to you. If it's a weapon, they make a strength save DC or a DC save, and then they lose their weapon, and then you can do what you want with that. Next is Zoans. Zoan fruits, unlike Paramecias, have a set rule on how they work. For example, temporary hit points. All Zoans get temporary hit points, double the player's level. That's how many hit points they get. So let's say you are a level 10 fighter and you eat the devil fruit, you get double the HP temp hit points as your level. So you have 20 temp hit points instead of 2 if it was a level 1 devil fruit. This is just to balance it fairly in terms of just D&D rules, because it would be kind of shitty if you ate a devil fruit at level 10 and you only got 2 temporary hit points from it, even though you have over 100 at that point, so it really wouldn't do anything for you. But you would not get many abilities still from it. But talking about abilities, all Zoans get a +3 to AC. Does not matter about the animal, unless the animal has a specific thing that gives them a higher armor class. Like maybe an armadillo Zoan would give you a higher armor class than the other Zoans. Instead of a +3, it's a +5 or 6, so doubling it. Also, each Zoan gets a permanent ability score done to their character sheet. This will always depend on the animal that you are using, because let's say you have a ox Zoan and a monkey Zoan. They would not have the same ability scores because they are two completely different animals. A monkey would be more like dexterity, and an ox would be more of a strength based. You get 3 pluses to mix and match with on how I ruled it. So like I would say the monkey would just get a straight 3 plus 3 to their dexterity, and like an ox would get maybe a plus 2 to their strength and a plus 1 to their constitution. Another thing that Zoans get is the abilities of that animal. So basically, let's say you are like a cheetah Zoan. Once you eat that fruit, once you're in your hybrid form, you get the abilities of a cheetah, which is maybe just like really fast speed. Like I would say double your speed for a cheetah. And lastly for Zoans, a Zoan fruit has a beast point. This is where you turn into your full beast form, and how I treat it is it's a lot like a druid's wild shape. It's its own little stat block that you get to turn into, and it has the same rules as a druid's wild shape. Lastly, there's Logias. Logia fruits are the hardest one to balance, and in terms of homebrew, it is the most complicated because Logias turn you into spellcasters, basically. So once you eat the devil fruit, you gain spells that coincide with your element. Now, if you do not have spells that coincide with that element that are officially in the D&D rule set, then it's up to the DM and even the player to workshop some spells for this. And also, you can just take pre-existing spells and flavor them to do this type of damage. So like, let's say you had the sand fruit, there's no like real sand spells in D&D, so I would like take Gust of Wind and turn it into like Sandstorm and just like, do that as the spell instead. I think Gust of Wind's a spell. I might be making that up. I'm thinking of like a wind spell, but like any wind spell you could flavor for like the sand fruit. Another thing Logias get is they are resistant to all damage types, unless it is the opposite of element of theirs, which they would suffer double damage from. But if hockey is used, their resistance is actually lost. So let's say you have a character and they swing a sword, and that sword's not coded in hockey, that would be half damage. But if that sword is coded in hockey, that would be regular damage, unless they use their reaction. Because a Logia has their reaction to use to become invulnerable to the damage. So basically they swing the sword and it completely misses. But if hockey is used, they swing the sword and it's resisted, so it's half damage instead. That's how I rule it. It's kind of like how Rusted ruled it in his campaign. So there's that. Now let's get into the awakening of these devil fruits. We do not have an official reason on why devil fruits awaken in the current story of One Piece. But I do have my personal theory that devil fruits awaken once the user of that devil fruit dies. Now, again, this could be false. Again, it's all theory. So I just put my theory as a D&D rule. So once a devil fruit hits level 10 and that user dies, or not dies, once that user fails to death saves, then they awaken the devil fruit. But my way of actually going to be doing it in my story is it's going to be a thematic awakening. So they'll be awakening their devil fruit once it's thematic for their character, if that makes sense. Now, for how these devil fruit works, Paramecia's, again, is kind of up to the DM on how this works, but if you want to follow a set rule, from the examples we have in One Piece, Paramecia Awakenings kind of have the opposite effect of their current abilities. For example, Doflamingo's devil fruit, the straight string fruit, is the ability to make and manipulate string, but his awakening is able to turn his surroundings into string, kind of the opposite effect, if you know what I'm saying. Then there is Kid's fruit, which allows him to turn himself into like the magnet and attract metal to him. But his awakening is the opposite, where he turns others into magnets and others into like kind of, yeah, it's all magnet because he makes one south, one north. Or he can just make one a south and all the metal comes straight to him. That's how I view it. And again, you can just go off how you want to do it. It doesn't have to be set in the opposite effect of the Paramecia's ability. Now with Zoans. Zoan's awakenings will give him 3 times their level in temporary hit points. It will also give them a +5 to their AC, and also a +5 to any ability score improvement they gain as that form. So let's go back to the ox and the monkey. The ox would get like a +5 to its strength and a +5 to its con. The monkey would get a +5 to its dexterity and also a +5 to another one of its ability score improvements. So basically you have 2 +5s to work with and you separate them how you do, but it cannot be a +10 to something if you get what I'm throwing out. They also get a +10 to their speed, increase just no matter what, and they also grow a size larger from their hybrid form. So let's say you have a hybrid form that grows into a large creature. So once they awaken, they grow into a huge creature instead. Or if they are a medium creature, they grow into a large, or if they're huge, they grow into a gargantuan. And if they're gargantuan, they stay gargantuan because D&D 5e does not have any rule sets above a gargantuan creature. But I have no idea why they would be a gargantuan unless they like the giant fruit. Also, all the effects they have from that animal are buffed. So again, the cheetah effect, instead of like double their speed, their awakening might be triple their speed, plus the 10 they already get for their awakened form. And lastly is Logias. Logias, we actually do not have any examples of an awakened Logia in One Piece. So I just kind of threw on, you get 2 extra spell damage dice when you use your spell with your awakening. It's kind of the laziest one, but also we do not have any examples of an awakened Logia in One Piece. So I could go back and change this once we understand what an awakened Logia does. Now we have examples of devil fruit. I have 3 examples, one for each type of devil fruit, starting with Paramecia and the Tick-Tick fruit. The Tick-Tick fruit is an actual devil fruit I am using in my current One Piece campaign. It's basically where after you eat the fruit, you can imbue an object with an explosion, which will go off at the end of their turn, doing 1d6 damage, and it goes up as it levels up. So 2d6 at level 5, 2d8 at level 10, and 2d10 at level 20. And I'm not going to go into awakenings just in case my players do watch this video, and I do not want to spoil what their awakenings do here. But you can kind of infer what their awakenings are from these abilities, such as the Dragon fruit model blue dragon. This is another fruit that is used in my campaign by a player character. This fruit allows them to turn into a blue dragon from the official D&D rule set. They have their hybrid form, which they get a +2 and the temporary hit points, obviously. They also get a flying speed from that because, again, they're a dragon, they get wings. It's equal to their walking speed. And they get a lightning breath and claw attack. Lightning breath is just kind of a weakened version of the actual blue dragon's lightning breath. And the claw is just, I think it's 1d6 plus their strength modifier. That's slashing damage. Now there's the dragon form, the beast point. This just gives him like a customized kind of weaker version of a young blue dragon stat block to work with, which is all on this document that is going to be in the description below. And lastly, there's the flame fruit, which is just a bunch of fire spells, basically. And also some homebrewed spells, or not homebrewed, some flavored spells of like official D&D spells, just changed to be more fire focused instead. So like, level 1, there's like the Firebolt cantrip, and then you get Burning Hands, Hellish Rebuke, and Absorb Element, but specifically fire. At level 2, like Flame Sphere, Heat Metal. Level 3, obviously, Fireball, Wall of Fire. Level 4, Fire Shield, and Element's Bane, fire only. Level 5, Flame Strike and Cloud Kills, but this is going to be flavored to a Toxic Smoke instead, if you get what I'm pushing out here. And then just kind of random, just normal fire spells like Sunbeam was changed to, instead of have Radiant and Fire, it's just all fire damage. Or Crowd of Stars, it's just like a Molten Fire thing instead of Radiant damage. And Firestorm also at level 7. Sunburst and Instrument, and whatever that smoke spell at level 8 is. And then Meteor Swarm at level 9. And actually level 9 spells can only be done once a day once they're unlocked at level 17. Because that's just kind of how the dice is rolled here, guys. That's just how I'm ruling it. Because again, I think even a level 20 wizard doesn't have more than one level 9 spell slot. So it would be unfair for them to be able to cast a level 9 spell multiple times a day when a wizard doesn't even get that ability. And that is how I run devil fruits in my current D&D campaign. If you like them, please like this video and subscribe, and comment down below what you really think about the devil fruit system. If things you would change, things you liked, whatever. Make sure to go check out my TikTok and my Twitter in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed it, and don't forget, outro.